Why does every recipe I try need 18 ingredients, including a jar of something paste I'll never use again, but will sit in my fridge for 9 months? I just want dinner in the oven, fast. That's why I love Blue Apron's new one-pan assemble and bake meals. They send you fresh ingredients that are already chopped. All you do is put it all together and bake. That's it. No chopping, no weird leftovers, just delicious, easy-to-make meals. Get 20% off your first 2 orders with code APRON20. Terms and conditions apply. Visit blueapron.com/terms for more.
Ed, how you doing?
I'm very good. So I've got a confession to make. I did not see the Zorya Luhansk game. I did, and I haven't even had the chance to watch it on repeat yet. So it's how crazy busy my life gets sometimes. But I was on a plane coming back from Madrid while the game was going on. So I popped in, said hi to Ronnie. He said hi back. Honest.
I just would like to say, I can't speak for the listeners, Ed, but just from my perspective, as a friend, there's no way I would ask you to watch the repeat of that game. It would be entirely unnecessary unless for some sort of deep completist drive in you.
Yeah, well, I normally do when I miss a game. I find a way of, there's always the full match highlights on my favourite Reddit channel. So I normally do catch games that I miss, but this time I just haven't had the chance. Plus, I saw the best bit, which was Rooney shanking and actually a half-decent chance. One of the worst missed hits I've ever seen. But he got an assist for it.
It's a brilliant pass. That's what Robbie Savage would have you believe. I think on this very show 2 weeks ago, I described Robbie Savage as being the voice of reason when it came to the subject of Wayne Rooney. But clearly the Illuminati has got to him. And the word of his betrayal got out. And he was in full Rooney Defence Force mode. Mourinho said he would have picked Rooney as a starter, which of course makes complete sense, barring a little injury. And he said because he's under a lot of pressure at the moment, he doesn't want to play him with a little injury because he needs to play well if he's going to play. It's interestingly Mourinho-esque approach to man management, that I thought.
Yes, I mean, there was an awful lot of chatter before the game, wasn't there, about Rooney. Would he play, wouldn't he play? I'm going to protect him from the evil media by not playing him.
Yeah.
Protecting. I feel. What did he say? I feel like he has to have a superb performance. But as if somehow. Mate. Yeah. Well. Yeah. That would be great, wouldn't it? As if somehow the two things that haven't conspired to bring about this situation aren't 1, 3 years of Rooney being absolutely cack, and 2, Mourinho dropping him. But it's all someone else's fault, of course.
Yeah, he's a funny man, José Mourinho. I do have an awful lot of weird love in my heart for him, even though he's definitely problematic. You're not that politically correct, Ed, so you might not be familiar with the concept of a problematic favourite, but José Mourinho is definitely a problematic favourite for me.
Yeah, he's a but he's a...
Yeah, so the problem with the Zorya game, of course, was actually not Wayne Rooney. He was not in the side. We've managed to talk about him already, of course, because he does manage to get himself in the headlines even when we don't want to talk about him. Someone accused me of 90% of the articles I write being about Rooney. I think I've written about 3 Rooney articles this season, maybe 5, but that's from 6 articles a week. So I don't know, the maths is wrong there. Anyway, starting a lineup which featured Marcus O-Ring Rojo, Fosu Mensah, who was a little better. His numbers look quite good, but actually his positional play was really shoddy. I saw a conversation between a couple of people on Twitter who watch the youth team a lot saying pretty convinced that right back is nothing like his actual position, and he's just playing there to get minutes in the team.
Yeah, no, I mean... Not speaking from a position of experience of having watched this game, I can't comment on either of their performances, but I have to say I don't think Fosu Mensah will end up being a right back. He's got plenty of athleticism and drive and all of that kind of stuff, and so you can see why they stick him at right back. But they used to do that with Chris Smalling and Phil Jones too.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling he'll end up in central defence. But either way, I was glad to see he got some game time. He's too good to be sitting in the reserves all, if he's not going to play at all, he's got to go out on loan, hasn't he? Going back to your original point about writing 5 articles a week about Rooney.
All season.
All season, yeah. I bet you haven't written 5 articles all season about Sergio Romero, though, have you? He played.
He did. It was funny to see him. He did not have a lot to do. Made one good save late on in the game. But if you want any kind of indication of how seriously Mourinho is taking the Europa League and why maybe the players don't look super duper up for it when they're playing in that competition, Romero's presence should tell you everything you need to know, shouldn't it?
But it's a strong team. It's not as if that, a few changes, but it's not as if Mourinho is putting out the stiffs here. The front 4, Ibrahimovic, Mata, Rashford, Lingard, same that started against Stoke at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And Pogba played. But, Fellaini played. And this front 4 wouldn't have been the same front 4, I doubt it, if it weren't for a couple of injuries like Mkhitaryan, Martial, Rooney, all varying scales of injured for that game. And you'd think you'd have seen either one or all of them had they been fit. So, it's Romero and Rocco at left back. I know they got to the World Cup final together because football is super weird. But that just means you don't care if that's what you're doing, I think.
Yeah. You called him Marcus O-Ring.
Yeah.
You probably should explain that because has he got some kind of sordid second
come on now.
career?
No, I talked about O-Ring theory at length and people keep atting me about it even though I didn't come up with that theory. I just read an article about it and talked about it on this podcast.
Yeah, so Adam on United Rant wrote a piece about United's weakest link and referenced your theory as well. Not
my theory. It's just not. Can we stop calling it my theory?
So I had a theory that United were going to be much, much better without Wayne Rooney. Turned out they weren't. Against Zorya. What went wrong?
It doesn't count though. It literally doesn't count because Fellaini played and he's gone back to just being Fellaini and the team just don't care that much. Like Pogba was really good in the first half of that game. He played a load of really beautiful kind of chipped through balls from the edge of the area. Pro Evo came out. I've been playing that, and there was a lot of Pro Evo style chipped through balls coming from Pogba.
So, I had FIFA 16, and instead of Pro Evo, I don't know why I picked that time.
Didn't it come free with? Didn't it come with your?
Maybe it was bundled. Yeah, maybe it was bundled, and then it got stolen because some thieving scallies broke into my house and took my PlayStation, and I got a new PlayStation. I realised I should have waited for the PlayStation Pro, which is just about to come out. But anyway, I got a new PlayStation and didn't get a football game. I was going to wait for FIFA 17, or should I get Pro Evo?
Well, FIFA is out. I would say it depends what matters to you. Whenever I do anything with Pro Evo or mention Pro Evo, loads of people will just go, why aren't you playing FIFA? And because it's become completely dominant, FIFA. But of course, when we were growing up, well, not even growing up really, but when we were like teenagers and like older teenagers at that, International Superstar Soccer came along and became the best console football game. And then that morphed into the Pro Evo series, and it was the kind of top dog for a long time. It really dropped off in the last generation. So the PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 generation of Pro Evo was pretty bad, but they've really got it back now. Now the problem is, of course, you have to spend 45 minutes importing data because otherwise you'll be playing as Man Red in a default kit. They've got all the players, but just not the kind of licenses for the kits and stuff. But you can very quickly import them.
Can you not just download all this stuff these days?
Well, yeah, exactly. You download it but you have to download it and put it on a USB stick. But the actual game, the actual mechanics of the game on the pitch, I much prefer the style of Pro Evo.
Right. Yeah, maybe I'll get myself a copy.
We can play online.
Well, we could, yeah. Okay, there you go. We'll do. Maybe we'll even play a game online. We'll have a Rankcast tournament as part of our bonus content for backers or something like that. Yeah, I'll get myself a copy. I was very disappointed this week to learn that Gran Turismo has been delayed till next year. You see, that's my more. Yeah, I was never much good at football games, but the racing games I liked.
Yeah, Gran Turismo is a little bit yesterday's man though nowadays. You see. But yeah, anyway, maybe the next one will be good. Right, football.
I tell you what I'm getting though,
what?
just like while we're continuing this aside, I'm going to have to get an Oculus because just a name drop. I was over at Facebook HQ a couple of weeks ago, and the one of the founders gave us a demo. So
was it Palmer Lucky?
No, it was not Palmer.
Good, because don't get an Oculus, Ed. Do not get an Oculus. You cannot support these people. Did you see what Palmer Lucky's done?
Yes, I know he's a Trump fan and he's been bankrolling Trump ads and stuff like that.
No. If he'd been bankrolling Trump ads, well, personally, I would have boycotted any product that anyone is bankrolling Trump because I think he's essentially a fascist. But the thing that he was bankrolling was this disgusting, meme and defamation spreading site. So it's really insidious and ugly. So get yourself a Vive.
Yeah, but of course, it's owned by Facebook these days. So it's all right. I mean, do you use any products of the Peter Thiel stable of things? Because he's another Trumper.
Who's he? What did he make?
Well, he was one of the PayPal mafia.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
he was a billionaire, and then I also an investor in Facebook and others.
I mean, you said Facebook owns it now, so that makes it all right. I'm pretty sure that doesn't make it all right. I'm pretty sure when it all goes down, Facebook's going to have a big part to play in the destruction of society in some form or another.
Well, it'll be the robots that do it.
Yeah. Anyway.
That was a very long aside. Shall we talk about football?
This is what the Zorya game will do to you. I think Pogba lost interest in that game in the second half. I think he really badly drifted out of it, and I think he was fed up with playing alongside Fellaini, to be honest.
Well, wouldn't anyone?
Yeah. And the whole thing just fell apart and went so flat until Rooney came on and managed to get highly praised for a really terrible miss. Maybe not a really terrible miss, but certainly not a kind of a miss that would go down as a bad miss. But
I mean, look, it's a good cutback.
Yeah.
And he's just outside the penalty spot, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's the kind of chance that Rooney was smashing to the top corner maybe 7 or 8 years ago.
Yeah, or 5 years ago.
Maybe 5 years ago. I did a stupid piece on Rant about what if Rooney had joined Manchester City in 2010.
That.
Yeah, referenced you in there. Actually.
Rooney was not the only person personally insulted in that piece.
Jose wouldn't have taken it too badly, don't worry. I don't know. I mean, he had that the season after the contract dispute, he scored 34 goals. But as I remember it, that actually wasn't that great a season from him. The one before the contract dispute, where he also scored 34 goals, I remember him being absolutely superb. I reckon that was his last really good season, 2010.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he was really good in the 2011 Champions League final, wasn't he? That's...
yeah.
But anyway, I feel like maybe we've talked about Wayne Rooney enough. What do you reckon? All
right, let's move on to... Well, should we talk about Stoke, or is there anything you'd like to add about United's somewhat limp Europa League campaign?
I mean, nobody cares, but it's good that we won, I suppose. There's a really good article in UWS about travelling to Feyenoord away and the kind of... the annoyance that United just keep losing away in Europe. And they just don't even look bothered, even though it's actually really loads of hassle and quite physically dangerous to follow them on the road sometimes. And I thought that was quite a good point that you don't necessarily consider if you're not one of the people that goes on Euro aways.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully they'll try harder, but I can't see it, to be honest. I just don't think they care. We might scrape through this group, but it doesn't matter either way, really. I don't think anyone involved is bothered, except for the fringe players who are getting game time in that competition. There were no fringe players in the side against Stoke, though. It was back to I'm pretty sure the exact starting 11 that played against Leicester. and there was absolutely no sign of a Europa League hangover. United flew out of the blocks.
Right.
Loads of incredibly fluent attacking play.
It was great for about 20 minutes.
And then a load of muffed up chances, one after the other. I thought Zlatan looks quite off the boil. He scored against Luhansk. That was his first goal for a while. And I think it looked to me, could be wrong about this, of course, because it's completely subjective, but my guess would be that his confidence was a little shaken by that miss early in that game. He didn't look himself.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I thought his general play was pretty good. I mean, he's great on the ball. He never loses it wherever he is in the pitch. He always picks the right pass. He's actually surprisingly quick, isn't he, in a one-on-one situation? Beat a man a few times. Just an outrageous. It was in the second half, but beat the right back and then sort of nonchalantly flick the ball across the 6-yard area and Lingard brought a great save out of the keeper, but I didn't think it was that bad. But that miss after 2 minutes was a shocker, really. I mean, he definitely would have been putting that away last season. I mean, he's got, 6 goals this season. So it's not exactly a bad return, 6 goals in 8 or 9 games.
No, I think it's 6 in 10 or 6 in 11
6 in
now.
10.
Yeah.
Right. But he probably should have had more. I was trying to see if United's chance creation and conversion rate is particularly poor or something, but it's not. I mean, it's just it's sort of fourth in the table, which is, a little further away than United are, I suppose, but or United are a little further away from that in the table. So it's not as if United are either not creating chances, they are creating plenty of chances, or not taking them in some really poor manner compared to the rest of the league. It's just a little frustrating because it feels like, and I think this is because we're comparing it to LVG, it feels like United creating a lot of chances, and there were 25 of them against Stoke today.
Yeah, and a lot of really high quality chances. I know people have varying different opinions on XG, but 2.7 XG is quite a big XG number. And Stokes was incredibly low, plus the Joe Allen chance.
Yeah, but Mark Hughes said that United had no pressure in the game.
I was sat at the back of the press conference room staring at him. You said in your article that I was just staring vacantly. I was so confused. I was like, is this Walter Mitty? Is this Hughes trying to big himself up because actually his job's under loads of pressure? Because he said that it was no more than, it was at least Stoke deserved at least a draw, and United had no periods of sustained pressure, when in fact the first 25 and the last 15 minutes of the game were nothing but sustained United pressure.
Yeah. There was a period in the middle where it was a bit flat, and Stoke came into the game just after the second half, didn't they? It felt like they benefited more from half-time than United, but it didn't last that long. In fact, after United scored, it was all United, except for the time that Stoke scored, of course. But it was just a real shame. It was that first half was the bit that lost United the game, or didn't win United the game, I suppose. It feels like probably should have been up 3-0 or something by half time, because they were very good. And I'll tell you who was excellent, Ander Herrera in that holding role. It feels like he's learning that role very quickly, and he's just so dynamic when he's in there, and it made such a difference to United when he came off, because he's the man who's linking midfield. And he pushes forward at the right time. He covers the ground great. He's I guess he didn't have to do loads of defensive work, but he's so much more dynamic than Fellaini. I'd pick him in that role, even though it's not his natural role, every single week ahead of Fellaini.
Yeah, and 2 tackles, 4 interceptions, so not devoid of defensive work by any means. Those stats aren't necessarily the best at telling the story of a game, but he was busy, as he always is, and I couldn't agree more. I think we had a little conversation on WhatsApp, and I said he just seems to be such a teachable player. Remember when Van Gaal came in and he was talking about the difference playing under Van Gaal compared to Bielsa, and it was evident from what he said just that he'd been really paying attention, which clearly not everyone was really paying attention to Van Gaal. And when United, in the rare periods United did click under Van Gaal's reign, Herrera was always absolutely at the heart of it. And, he's obviously played in central midfield in United's 2 best performances by a mile this season.
Yeah, Marcus Rashford said something as well about Van Gaal, comparing him to Mourinho. He said that Van Gaal focused entirely on the games and Mourinho focuses mostly on the players. He said, I'm going to become a complete player under Mourinho, which was an interesting little commentary on the difference between the two.
Yeah, absolutely, and you can see it in Rashford's game. Like, he's played left for most of this game. Didn't have a huge bearing on the game, but is clearly a brilliant player. And then went right and was just vital to everything that happened down United's right in the.
Let's just talk about that one through ball when he played it with the outside of his foot, shall we?
To Pogba. Oh, what a pass!
Oh, look, I'm not afraid to admit it. I got wood watching that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was a heck of a through ball, and he played a beautiful kind of perfect cross. I'm not sure if that's the one that Pogba headed off the bar or if that was from a corner, but Rashford is absolutely brilliant, and that's all there is to it. I think the debate around him obviously is over. He's in the first team and he's going to stay there for quite some time. And he as well, he should. And in fact, I think there's nothing about this game that tells you that the first team should really shift. Particularly, I think there'd be an argument for bringing in Mkhitaryan instead of Lingard.
Yeah,
certainly. There'd be an argument for bringing Luke Shaw instead of Daley Blind, but at the moment, that's a non-trivial argument given how well Blind uses the ball.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think Shaw's all-round game means that he should be in the side ahead of Blind, but Blind was very good today. Apart from, I'm afraid I've got to say it. Just boot the damn thing forward. I mean, in the build-up to Stoke's goal, Blind had the chance to just launch it, just clear the lines. That's exactly the right thing to do at that time. And he ends up going out for a throw-in, very tame throw-in, about level with United's box, which was the start of the move that allowed Stoke to score. And obviously a lot has happened post then, so it's not totally Daley Blind's fault, but it was pretty frustrating. At the time, I was going, ah!
I mean, I spent a lot of time going, ah, at missed chances, which were really the story of that game. So let's talk about the De Gea save. I think it's fair to say, I'm sorry about this, I don't mean this as please don't take offence, please don't let this end the podcast. I think you side a little bit with Michael Owen in this one.
Oh dear. I'm not sure about that. Well, yeah, I guess so. So look, when I first saw it, I thought, that's a bad mistake. He's just pushed it directly into the path of the Stoke. I almost called him a Coventry player then, Stoke player, with a very weird coloured kit.
Yes.
But when you actually see it from behind, not only does it take a bit of a deflection, he gets a great hand on it, and it's almost like he's got too full a hand on that, because if he's got half a palm on it, it's going behind, which would have been, everyone would be saying that's a great save, and unfortunately it's gone straight to the player, and it's across and allowed Joe Allen to score. So unfortunate. I don't think it's a huge error. He's gone down an error on who scored, which obviously dumps his who scored rating into the bucket. But I'm not sure. I think that's half an error.
So you're saying he almost saved it too well?
Yeah. But piece of Michael Owen analysis there.
I mean, did they hit the bar twice? Mata did that chip. There was the Pogba header. Oh, it's such a frustrating game.
It was, yeah. Beautiful chip from Mata. Probably wasn't going in. Pogba should have scored with his second header. I mean, definitely. It's come off his head and his shoulder and hit the bar. Just an inch over it. Come on.
He should have scored in the first half as well. I mean, I haven't seen this in real time. It looked like he should have scored a chance somewhere around the edge of the 6-yard box that he scuffed wide.
Yeah. And then you've got to give credit to Grant, the Stoke goalkeeper, who's made a bunch of fine saves, I
mean, it was a bit Tim Howard in the World Cup against whoever it was that Tim Howard became a meme, where, he made a lot of saves. Or De Gea against Arsenal, that time when we beat them hilariously with a Rudy goal late on. But 2 seasons ago away from home,
he's made 8 saves.
Yeah, but
I think that's pretty good.
It's all right, but I mean, how many of them would he have been horrifically disappointed not to make? It would have been quite a lot, I would imagine.
Yeah.
So it's how many really good saves did he make?
Yeah, but he's still made them.
Yeah, well done.
But yeah, it's fair enough, and I guess that points to not only he's made 8 saves. United have put another 8 over the bar, and there's been a whole bunch blocked as well. So
yeah, 8 shots blocked.
Yeah, it's one of those days. I hope United don't live to regret it and lose the title by a point. We might be looking back at that one and and going, oh dear.
I mean, if we lose the title by a point, something's gone really well from here on out, because we've dropped 3, 6, 7 points. 8 points in the last 3 weeks or whatever it is. And at least 5 of those were points we absolutely can't afford to be losing. Watford away, there's no way those points would be counted as, you wouldn't expect to lose those points before if you're going to win the league, and definitely not Stoke at home.
No, that's right. But, some of the other results went United's way. City lost. I guess that compresses things a little bit.
Does that make... doesn't it just add to the frustration that City lost today?
Well, it does add to the frustration. Yeah. At one point I tweeted, when City were 2-0 down, the leader would just be... The gap would just be 3 points, mentally having forgotten already that United didn't beat Stoke.
Amazing. City drew with Celtic in midweek, lost this weekend. Crisis? Guardiola's in crisis?
Yeah, Guardiola out.
Yeah, and Mourinho said we lost 3 games in a week, and you wrote a lot about that. So if we win, we've won 3 games. This was after Zorya. We've won 3 games in a week. Will you write a lot about that? And I generally want to take Mourinho's side if at all possible. But in this, I was like, well, one of those games was against a team I'd literally never heard of, and another one was against Northampton. And in the other one, the opposition just completely neglected to defend us. So I'm not sure there was quite the story there. But yeah, I thought he was at pains to say that he thought that against Leicester United played well, but the result outshone the performance. But here, it was a much better performance than it was against Leicester. And I think certainly for the first 25 minutes, you could say that was definitely the case. But I do think it's easy to get really caught up in the fact that United should massively have won that game, and they should. But in terms of the performance as a whole, there was a big elongated dip in the middle of the game.
There was, yeah, and the intensity wasn't consistent. So, I mean, and look, I'm prepared to give Mourinho plenty of benefit of doubt here. I mean, he said in the build-up to the game that it takes a while. He's still trying to learn the players. I mean, it's only 7 Premier League games in, and he's already made the big decision that he had to make.
Yeah.
We'll still see if he steps backwards from that, but it didn't take him that long, really, given that Van Gaal couldn't really make any proper decisions for 2 years.
Yeah, and United really benefited from that, and their attack looks really fluent. And
it does. It just needs to put the ball in the net.
Yeah, which obviously, we scored 4 goals in the last game, so it's not a massive problem.
Yeah, so we scored 4 goals in the last game, 3 coming from corners, which Daley Blind were taking. Why the hell was Wayne Rooney taking corners near the end of the game?
Honestly, it was. Rashford took one. I mean, that was just a speed thing. I think he was just there. Of course, it was excellent because he's Marcus Rashford. I'm sure he would somehow be quite a good substitute goalkeeper or something at this point. But yeah, that was weird. Mata took some from that side as well. So we've had a question from no less a Manchester United luminary than Scott from the Republic of Mancunia, who says Mourinho has learnt to leave out Rooney and Fellaini. When will he learn to stop subbing Mata?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Mata's intensity dropped that much. Not in comparison to the rest of the team. So he came off after, 65, 70 minutes? Can't remember now exactly. But it felt too early. I don't think he's unfit. I don't think he can't last 90 minutes. But this is what he did before as well. So,
I mean, he obviously wanted to put Rooney on, which you can understand, because Rooney will definitely run into the right place, either shank the ball or get it taken off him, and that will lead to a United goal. That'll happen in 100% of cases after he gets subbed on, apparently, according to the statistics of the last week. But yeah, I don't know. I thought Mata's intensity had dropped. And if I think back on that game just as a kind of impressionistic memory of it, basically most of the good stuff he did in the first half. So I didn't think it was a terrible sub this time in the way it has been sometimes in the past to take Mata off. But yeah, lots of people seem to think he should have been on the pitch because obviously carries a massive goal threat as well, doesn't he?
I mean, his goal and assist record is outstanding for a midfielder. So I don't know. I'd have him on the pitch as much as you just accept that he's not going to be the number 10 that's the sort of modern number 10 who's dynamic all of the time. Although I have to say, he's quite prepared to chase the ball around now, which he might not have done 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
He's an old-fashioned number 10. He's going to get the ball. He's going to try and make chances. He's going to take risks. And he gets in the right places and he scores goals and he creates assists. So I'd have him in the team all of the time ahead of Rooney. And if you're going to bring Rooney on and you feel like you need to do something, put him on up front or wide or something like that.
I was looking at the team and thinking the only player that sort of is an obvious player to come off would be Lingard, and he wanted to bring on Martial and Rooney. And I actually thought the bold shout would have been to take off Ibrahimovic, but I also totally recognise that it's kind of ridiculous to take off Ibrahimovic when you're chasing a goal. However badly he's playing, there's a sort of... In the same way that I actually often felt that Rooney shouldn't come off when, even if he wasn't playing brilliantly, when United desperately needed a goal. So there was a kind of logic to the substitution. Martial came on and was fantastic, which was nice to see because it's been a while, and that will have done his Mourinho cause no harm. Is that his first goal this season? No. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, yeah. Good finish as well.
Beautiful. Classic Martial, right?
I hope that's the confidence boost he needs. I'd love to see him in the team. Him and Rashford running at full-backs. Supporting Ibrahimovic with some pace around them. Surely a front four of Ibra, Mata, Rashford and Martial is going to score and create lots of goals. Surely. Very
attacking, no. And I'm not like that's a bad thing. I don't mean very attacking. I mean very open. There is a serious lack of defensive contribution there, isn't there?
Yeah, but that's all that Lingard offers you. I mean,
no, it is. No, it's not. First of all, some beautiful interplay between Lingard and Mata leading to the Pogba chance today. Secondly, FA Cup final.
Yeah, and the Charity Shield, yeah. Which are two fine pieces of evidence to the contrary, but his goal and assist record isn't great. Anyway, it'll be interesting when Mkhitaryan is finally fit, if he is finally fit. It's taking him an awful long time to get fit, isn't it, for someone who had such a minor injury. But it'll be interesting to see if and when he can get himself in the side, because there's a role going on the right wing. I definitely don't think Lingard has sealed that up.
No, for sure not.
Yeah.
In a weird twist of this is not particularly useful or relevant information, but normally there's 2 rows of seats in the director's box which are occupied by the first team squad members who are not playing that day,
right,
and some youth team players sometimes, I think, as well. But they were all empty today. None of the first team squad. So no Mkhitaryan. None of the players that weren't on the bench were at the game.
Disgraceful.
In their sharp suits. I mean, I'm sure they were given the day off because it's just before international break. I guess that must be what happened.
Outrageous. The Daily Mail will be running a piece, no doubt.
There might be.
So, it was pretty disappointing, I have to say.
Yeah.
Really frustrating. But, I again, unlike me, but in a way that makes me feel a little more confident that United created so many chances, And I think once it all clicks, if he has to change the personnel around or has to bring someone else in, or when Mkhitaryan comes back and Martial's feeling confident, I'm sure United are going to score a lot of goals.
Yeah.
They have to, because at the moment it's Liverpool banging them all in, and we can't have that.
No, and that might become a massive problem in about a week and a bit's time, but we'll come on to that because we're going to do... No, that's 2 weeks' time, isn't it? We're going to do a show during the international break where we preview the Liverpool game, which gives us a bit more time to take some listening questions this week.
Let's go for it.
All right. At special K_2311 says, question, let's pretend both of you care about the English national team as much as you care about United, or even a bit. I guess I care a bit about them, but anyway. What do you think of King Eric as manager?
Oh, yes.
I'd care an awful lot more if he was the manager,
I'd be a big England fan overnight.
So it's not gone
too well for your man, Sam.
Then.
Yeah. Let's talk about this a little bit, because, we had a long debate on this here show, didn't we, about Big Sam and Big Sam's Big Samness. I have to say I focused not on his Big Sam bentness, but his Big Sam long ballness. But it turns out it's the bentness that dominated.
Yeah, what a shame. I mean, the thing I keep having to remind myself in this situation is that the third-party rules that he was offering to help people navigate around are essentially in place to minimise the possibility of human trafficking as part of football. When you really get down to it, those rules are there for a reason, and a good reason at that. Third-party ownership is a very dodgy, unpleasant subject. Of course, there are big commercial third-party deals which probably offer some benefits to the players and their families and all that kind of stuff, but it's a murky area. So
yeah. Not every third-party ownership case is Carlos Tevez, and there's millions and millions of pounds involved in it. And, United bought the contract out from of Marcus Rojo, didn't they, when he joined? And unfortunately, it wasn't banned, even like turning a third-party ownership situation into a full contract situation.
The whole thing, the reason I have to keep reminding myself that that's bad is because otherwise I would just feel incredibly sad for Big Sam, because this was really quite common or garden. This was mostly here. He's been sacked for bad optics, really.
Yeah. I mean, there was a story going around that there might be a corruption investigation. But look, come on, what has he done? They offered him some money to go and do a speaking engagement, which he was obviously very interested because he's quite greedy, and said he would clear it with the FA first. And then they asked him about third-party ownership, and he said, "Oh yeah, no problem, you can get around it. It's easy sort of thing." When he was asked would he take money to facilitate a transfer, he was like, "Absolutely no way, can't do that." Although he was kind of smirking behind his handkerchief, wasn't he, or his napkin. So I think mostly he's been sacked because he embarrassed the FA. Then he's done something properly dodgy. He didn't actually take a payment.
No, although that I mean, I don't, that's kind of, he kind of agreed in principle to take a speaking engagement in return for a load of money and the offer of some, greasing the wheels behind the scenes. So he has made an agreement to do something specifically wrong. It's just, But if the FA was so worried about that, why did they appoint him in the first place? Because, that whole panorama thing is still hanging over him. And I'm sure the producers of that show feel extremely vindicated now. This guy was not whiter than white. It's just he's embarrassed the people who are now in charge. Ravel Morrison tweeting, "No one paid attention to a word I said. No one listened to a word I said."
Right. Well, Danny Taylor did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Called Big Sam out earlier on this one. So, I mean, personally, I thought it was a really bad appointment, mainly because he's just he's a hoofball merchant, but also because he's bent.
I mean, I thought it was a really good appointment because England are dreadful, and having somebody to kind of organise them and make them feel good about themselves might have worked in a tournament setting within reason. But, his first game in charge, where he was so awestruck by Rooney, was a bit of an unfortunate start. Apart from Eric Cantona, is obviously the right appointment. I mean, people talk about Eddie Howe, and I just think, how much do the people recommending Eddie Howe hate him that they want to ruin his life so early when there's so much promise?
I know. He's a bright young manager. Yeah. I mean, God, he would be mad to do it, wouldn't he? Of course, there is a big name manager who's free and not working at the moment, who loves England.
Louis van Gaal's army!
Yeah, I couldn't think of a better match.
Arsene Wenger, a name that's done the rounds a lot, and I just think, I don't understand why anyone would say that was a good idea. Not that Arsene Wenger is a terrible manager. He's obviously not a terrible manager, but it's also pretty clear that the absolute peak of his career is a long, long way behind him. And this kind of this England setup doesn't seem a setup that would get the best out of Wenger to me.
No. Well, mainly because it's full of English players.
Alex Ferguson.
Yeah, he would never do it. David Moyes, I mean, he's about to get the boots at Sunderland, isn't he?
Just swapsies. Allardyce back in at Sunderland. Moyes back at England. Moyes, he said after last week, it's not always the manager's fault, sometimes the players have to take a look at themselves. And I just think,
oh my God.
And he said, like, they've had loads of managers here and it's always been the same. It's like, well, if you get relegated, actually that won't be the same. That will very specifically be different to all the times that those other managers kept the teams up.
I mean, only David Moyes could manage to bring the negativity down a notch at Sunderland.
He's bad. It was very, very frustrating at Stoke today, but we felt like a very good football team missing important chances. Something we haven't felt like in a long, long time. So, my friends at bifurcated_MBM say, how stupid do you both feel now for mistaking Rooney's last 10 years of assists for miscontrols, bad first touches, chips, Hollywood balls?
That's right.
This is the new Rooney trick of playing abysmally and getting assists. But today's wasn't registered as an assist. So
no, because it came off of the defender as well.
Yeah.
I mean, God, it's shanked one off his shin and manages to find the perfect through ball for Martial. Amazing.
How good is Marcus Rashford? Asks at Across the Keeper. No, but seriously, how good is he?
Very good.
Yeah, he says he's better than Makeda, right? Januzaj, because look at how they turned out.
I think so. I think he's got all of it. He's super quick. He's technically very sound. He's a good finisher. We can see today he can also play a pass and take a corner kick. So I think he's got a lot. I think he's going to do very well, and I think he's right. I think Mourinho will help him develop. It's good to see he's going to be back in the England squad. Bad to see. I'm not sure whether... he scored a hat-trick. He's dumped down to the under-21s by Big Sam, scored a hat-trick, and rightly he's promoted back up again, where he'll be meeting his under-21s manager, Southgate.
I mean, when Adnan Januzaj was on fire in that first season, I would definitely have said, and did definitely say, I think he's got the lot. And I still think that.
Absolutely.
To reference,
except for the right attitude to make it to the top, it would appear.
It would appear that. And a really interesting interview again in UWS with Paul McGuinness. UWS is just generally, if you don't read it, it's just generally worth reading, and you can get it everywhere in the world and digitally and all that stuff. But yeah, really good interview with Paul McGuinness where he talks about Rashford's development and some of the way they handled him, allowing him to play both ahead of his level and at his level, so that he had games where he absolutely battered people to kind of get that confidence that he was a special player into him. And he also said that he obviously hadn't worked with Januzaj in the latter stages of his United career, but he never had any problem with his kind of attitude or whatever. So Rashford should take that as a bit of a lesson that, things can change. I mean, he seems like an absolutely lovely kid, doesn't he? He just seems like he's really got his feet on the ground.
Until they give him 80 grand a week and he turns into a flash. Yeah, we'll see. Januzaj, who started the season okay at Sunderland and unfortunately has picked up an injury and is going to be out for a couple of months now.
Yeah, that's a real
By which
shame.
time Moyes will have been sacked and he will probably be back at United in January.
At Nightwink99 says, will Man United score the goal of the season this year?
Yes.
It's definitely a solid possibility, isn't it?
Yes, it's going to be a 25-pass build-up, some kind of outrageous flick from Zlatan, a couple of 1-2s from Lingard and Mata, and it's going to be like a 50-yard overhead from Zlatan. Of course. It's going to be everything that every Hollywood film about Soldier shows you, right? It's going to be that.
Yeah, absolutely. Please tell me, says at @born_and_reg, you can tell the difference between last season and today's performance. Yes, Jake, because we've got eyes, so obviously we can see that.
But United didn't create any pressure at all.
Mark Hughes, what's wrong with Mark Hughes? He's so grumpy about Man United. I really wanted to ask...
It really is, but in the build-up, he was talking about how he loves going back to United. He had, many great years there. It's a special place. He can see that Jose's building something special and winning things. That's the way that United should be. He says all the right things. And then when he gets on the touchline, it's like every conspiracy is against United and he becomes the ultra ABU.
It's weird, though, because, he's a United youth team project. He's 80s Marcus Rashford. That's who Mark Hughes is, came through. Maybe Norman Whiteside is technically 80s Marcus Rashford, but still, Hughes is, definitely a contender for that designation. Such an important part of United's history as well. Obviously he managed City, so that's a massive knock against him, but it isn't just that he managed City, it's the way that he is. Because, like, Brian Kidd worked for City for ages, and I've got no bad feelings towards him.
Well, Brian Kidd played for City for ages as well, so yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Right. Am I the only one, says at C past Charlie, Chris, who feels really sorry for Schneiderlin and thinks he was quality last year, enough to deserve a place in the 11. I think Herrera is playing Schneiderlin's role and playing it better than I've seen Schneiderlin play it, really, to be honest, in the current squad. Or even you could say Pogba's playing Schneiderlin's role and obviously better, because Pogba's just a much better box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah, I mean, Schneiderlin can't be that confident of having any kind of future at United, can he? Couldn't get in the side against Zorya. How much has he played this season? Barely at all. So Mourinho clearly doesn't rate him. I wouldn't be surprised to see United bring in a proper defensive midfielder in the winter. You know, it's clearly what's missing in the squad at the moment. Although Herrera keeps playing like that, he's going to do a fine job. It's a much better balance right now, isn't it?
Yeah, massively. At Luke Jurdy asks a question about beating Liverpool at Anfield next Monday, and also makes another stab to beat on the Rantcast. We'll definitely get you on the Rantcast at some point, Luke. At Jay Bonza says, why do you think there's so much negativity among fans considering how early it is? Improved performances, more goals, etc. I mean, at Old Trafford, I'm definitely not feeling loads of negativity, but I have to say, there was loads of negativity around United fans when we were winning the league every season. Like, especially the last 5 years of Fergie, there was a lot of grumpiness around.
There was, yeah. I mean, all through the Glazer era, there were periods of grumpiness. You know, United very poor in that sort of 2005-ish. Then picked up again, won a few leagues and the European Cup, and then dipped off again. So... and Fergie of 90s Fergie all-out attack was not Fergie of late 2000s Fergie of more circumspection. So, you know.
And there's just been 3 years of general misery with the odd peak in it, so it's going to take a while to shift. And people just want everything immediately as well. They just want all the change immediately. They want all the signings to click. They want it all to be different and all to be like it was in the kind of dream version of the past. Funnily enough, at GC Rossi says, can you comment on the players' progression as a unit? Are we really improving? I think there's a case against it. I do not know how you can say you think there's a case. Oh, well, I mean, you might have a really good reason for saying this, but to me, I cannot see any case against the idea that we are vastly improved as a unit, because ultimately the measure of a football team of whether it's playing well or not is actually about good chances created. You know, that is, in a way, creating more good chances and really limiting the number of good chances your opposition create. That's the bedrock of being likely to score goals versus concede goals.
I guess so. Some people might say it's points, and I'd have less points at this stage this season than last.
Would you say that, Ed? Would you say that's the metric?
Well, I mean, I'm just saying some people would. I think United are much better at the moment, but there's some inconsistency, and those inconsistent performances have coincided with losing games, which is why United have less points than last season.
I mean, I think that's true, although I think this time last season, I think if in 2 months we've got less points than we had at the same time last season, then there's a big problem. But this time last season, we were clearly in a pretty inflated position. Do you remember that Schweinsteiger picture he put on Twitter of him pointing his finger at the air, going, "Yeah, top of the league," when we were first in the league sometime in October?
Yeah, but you know, then we got a bunch of injuries, and it was absolutely nothing to do with Louis van Gaal. It was just the fact there were a bunch of injuries.
This is absolutely true. Thank you for saying the truth. Many people in this place have been saying lies, but the fans are shouting, Louis van Gaal's army. At Sophie Gator wants to know, Ed, if you're a spy. She's getting suspicious because we never see your face. You're always gallivanting, always secretive.
Yes.
I mean, we can't. Oh, I can't believe you've just given that away. I was just going to say we can't say whether you're a spy or not, but apparently we can. Apparently the cover's blown.
Apparently.
Just in case Vladimir Putin's people are listening, that was a joke. Ed is not really a spy.
Maybe I'm working for Vladimir. Or Vlad.
No.
Big V, as I like to call him.
The V-dog. At Paul Hay 1967 says, when will people stop getting ridiculously upset just because we don't win a game?
Never, because the GGMU crowd is out in force or something like that. 1967, of course, one thing I did want to mention reminds me that David Hurd has died.
Yes.
Played 245 games for United, or 200, even more than that, 200 and something games for United, including some of the really big games in the 60s, won league titles, scored twice in the 1963 FA Cup final, didn't make the 68 final because he'd broken his leg the previous March, but passed away this week, so worth mentioning.
I think it's fair to say that he is like a massively underrated all-time United legend. In a way, he's not a player that you really read or hear much about, but he was absolutely instrumental in that brilliant United side. And yeah, it was only that leg break that stopped him kind of like going on. He had kind of a bit of a short career, but he scored an awful lot of goals in that short career, didn't he?
He did. I mean, in his 7 seasons for United, well, only 6 proper seasons, he scored 145 goals, plenty of goals. Excellent record.
Absolutely. Yeah, so a bona fide United legend, and the team wore black armbands in his honour for this game. At Bearded Red says the squad is talented and has bags of potential, which is undeniable, but is it mentally weak? Almost fragile at times.
Well, Jose said that earlier this season, didn't he? Although he picked on some...
Yeah, maybe even earlier this week.
Yeah, picked on some young players. One time he did it, which was unfortunate, I thought. Yeah, maybe so. I mean, but then you've got plenty of characters in there as well. It's just not all of them seem to play, So, I mean, I don't think Rooney's mentally weak. I think he's weak in other areas of his game. I don't think Chris Smalling is mentally weak. I don't think Ibra is mentally weak. Michael Carrick's in there as a leader as well. So, but there are some others who, when it gets difficult, aren't quite the same. So, But I think Jose will work this out over time, and he'll adjust his squad as he needs.
There's definitely a collective confidence problem, though. Definitely, the confidence is not particularly deep, but that can only come with winning. This is a team that's lost too much recently, and. Yeah, they need to win. At Dunkland says, you were decent first half, so no need to panic, but will it be a disaster if you don't get top 4?
Yes.
Also, what the heck is up with Henrik Mkhitaryan?
Don't know. I mean, he I guess wasn't fit enough for Mourinho when he first joined the club, couldn't get in the side, wasn't getting any minutes, then got himself a thigh injury.
I mean, it will be one of the great tragedies if one of the great football on pitch tragedies of United's recent history if we don't get anything out of Mkhitaryan. It'd be just devastating because he's such a good player.
Oh no, we don't need to talk about that just now, do we?
Yeah, I mean, no, you're right. We don't need to kind of jump to any conclusions, but it's just a slight worry that Jose might actually secretly hate Henrik Mkhitaryan. I want a run of 5 games in the side just to feel comfortable that that's a thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, it'll happen. I think.
Good. You're worried too, though, secretly, right, Ed?
No, but it doesn't take much to derail a career, and or not a whole career, but just to not get off on the right footing at United. And it could well be that he finds it hard to get into the team for some time to come. And then finds it hard to get some rhythm, doesn't get the kind of form, and he doesn't have a great season. It could be. Or it could be that he's back in a couple of weeks' time, fit again, gets a game, scores a goal, feels great, can't get outside, and he's absolutely brilliant this season. So we'll see.
Yeah, okay. All right, I think we're going to preview the post-international break games during the international break. So I think we'll call that a podcast. We don't have to make any predictions about scores this week, which is nice. Loads of United players in international action. The last international break wasn't great in terms of injuries and stuff, so let's hope this one's a bit of a cleaner path.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to Gareth Southgate's international debut against Malta. How do you think it's going to go? Do you want to make a prediction about that one?
I think England will win that game by about a lot of goals to not that many goals. Is that a qualifier?
Yeah. Let's hope Marcus Rashford gets a hat-trick or something.
Yeah, I mean, if you play Marcus Rashford against Malta, he's definitely getting a hat-trick. Just a free word of advice to Gareth Southgate.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he's a Patreon backer, so it is free.
Wayne Rooney might even score a hat-trick against Malta.
Didn't against Northampton Town, did he?
No, he did not.
All right. So, talking of Patreon, patreon.com/rantcast if you want a little bit more show every week and a lot more show once a month and a bunch of other goodies and stuff, which, as I mentioned last week, we'll be dealing with at the beginning of this month. Stay tuned if you are a backer for loads more details about that stuff, and also stay tuned if you are a backer, because we're about to spend 10 or 15 minutes talking about The Wire, which I'm looking forward to almost as much as I've enjoyed talking about Manchester United with you over the last hour, Ed.
All right, we'll see everyone in a couple of minutes, and the rest of you, we'll see you in a couple of weeks or next week.
See you then.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Comfort is often the first thing we're willing to give up. But don't let style be the reason you aren't comfy. Mack Weldon's Ace Collection makes it effortless to look put together while feeling truly comfortable. Inspired by their best-selling sweatpants, the Ace Collection combines everyday comfort with long-lasting and confident looks. Upgrade your collection for the new year with new bomber jackets, half-zips, sweats, crew necks, and much more. Go to MackWeldon.com and get 20% off your first order of $125 or more with promo code MAC25.